Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. As my lessons work through the ABRSM Grade 1 2022 Practice Exam Paper Workbook, let's now take a look at Practice Exam Paper D. In this full lesson, which is available on my Patreon channel, I work through every step of the exam paper. I look at aspects of rhythm, pitch, keys and scales, intervals, tonic triads, musical terms and signs, and music in context. And as I work through the exam paper with you, I give you revision tips to help you along as we work through each question. Practice exam papers are an excellent revision tool, and I help you to work through every single question so you are best prepared for your music theory exam. The full lesson can be found on my Patreon channel. If you visit patreon.com/Sharon Bill, you can find the full lesson there, and you can find links to this lesson in the cards and in the description box below. After this short little video, you can see sample examples taken from the full Patreon lesson, showing you how I work with you question by question, note by note, through every single step of the exam paper. Once you feel you are ready to take your ABRSM Music Theory exam, I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to be best prepared for your exam, and also how to make the best use of your time when you're actually taking the exam on exam day. This book is available from Amazon, and you can find links to this in the cards and in the description box below. Enjoy your studies! Similar scenario here, we have to add up the beats, but now we've got the time signature, we just need to show where the bar line should go. So we should have 3 crotchet beats in a bar. So here's 1 crotchet beat. And then let's just divide this out. 4 semiquavers, 4 quarter beats to a crotchet. We have a semiquaver and a semiquaver. And then a quaver is half of a beat, which gives us a crochet beat, which is shown here by the grouping. So that's 1 beat, and then there's another crochet beat. So 1, 2, 3. And we could leave it at that, but I think it's best to double check, because if something's gone wrong, this last bar will be wrong. Or if you get a little bit stuck, you can work backwards. Because this has got a bar line, this also has to be a complete bar. So we can see here we have 3/4 of a beat and a quarter. There's our first crochet beat. And then we've got 2 quarters, which is a half, plus a half. There's our next crochet beat. So they should be joined together to show that that's all of beat 2. So that's not correct. Now this here is a 2-beat note. So that's not big enough to fill the bar. And I think it's because it's easily confused with the semi-breve, which is the full bar's rest. And although that's too big a rest for this, that is the accepted complete bar's rest, like a shortcut. And so the way I remember which one's which, the semi-breve is 4 beats hanging off the 4th line, hanging around for the whole bar. This one is just sitting down for a couple of beats. So that's not correct, it's the wrong one. Easily confused, but it's the wrong one. We've got 1 crochet beat here, we've got 3/4, and then here that's a semi-quaver rest. So actually we have 4/4 there, that's correct. And there's our final beat, that's correct. Now then here we've got, let's just diagram that out. We've got a half a beat is the quaver, the dot is half as much again, that's the quarter. And then there's the semiquaver, that's the final quarter, that's 1 beat. And then here we've got a crochet, which is 1 beat, and then the dot after that is half as much again. So that's 1 1/2. So we've got 1, 2 1/2 beats. We've only got half a beat left. That's a quaver rest, half a beat rest. That's correct. We now need to make sure that this is the correct note name for this note by adding the appropriate clef. So if this was treble clef, it would be every good. That would be a G. Whereas in the bass clef, good boys, that's the correct clef to make that note B. So in the treble clef, every good boy deserves. That's correct. If we did that in bass clef, that would be an F. That would be incorrect. Now then here, we know that in the bass clef, this is note G, good boys deserve. The line is G1, below that is F. So for that to be F sharp, it must be bass clef. And we also need to be aware of the degrees of the scale and the intervals of a first, third and fifth, which is used to build up the triad on the tonic note of each key. So is it true or false that this is the tonic triad of G major? Well, the tonic triad of G major is built up of the first, the third and the fifth. G major, G being the tonic or the tone key at the home note. G, A, B, C, D. Now G major has a key signature of F sharps, which doesn't come into the notes of the tonic triad, so we don't need to worry about that. So do we have here a G, B, D? We don't, because it would be if it was in the treble clef. It's not. It's in the bass clef, which would actually make this a B, D, F. So that's all wrong. And as always, I suggest that you squeeze every drop of revision opportunity out from this past paper. The harder you make your revision and preparation, the easier your exam will be. So rather than just choosing an option and hoping for the best, let's find the definition for this, give it its full definition, and let's give all of the options there term or sign as well, and that way we've really made the most of this opportunity. So andante, well, what are the options? We know that andante means at a medium speed, so actually straight off the bat there we are, but we're not going to leave it at that. So what's the term for a singing style? In a singing style, remember cantata is singing, cantabile is